Who wants to read the intention?
Okay, Prisons to Partnerships welcomes individuals and groups to share ideas and resources and make connections that foster a community committed to the transforming the narrative around incarceration and reentry for individuals, families, and organizations.
Okay, and tonight's our community meeting with Natasha Blakely of Project Avary. I'm pleased to introduce her. For the past 40 years, Natasha has served as a dedicated training and engagement specialist where she brings both a wealth of knowledge and heartfelt passion to her work. She holds a degree in education with a minor in counseling, and before joining Project Avary, she developed and facilitated classes designed to help students improve patience, strengthen attention to detail, build confidence, and boost self-esteem. As the child of an incarcerated parent, Natasha carries a first-hand understanding of the challenges that children and families face. This experience fuels her deep commitment to bridging gaps and fostering understanding within our community. Please join me in warmly welcoming Natasha as she shares her insights and experiences with us tonight.
Woohoo! Hi guys, thank you for the introduction. It sounded like you said 40 years, but I've been with Project Avary for 4 years, just to clarify that, 4. No zero behind it. I'm happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for including me in your community meeting. If it's okay, I have a question just for the amount of time that I have. Is it the full hour until 6 o'clock is me? Or do you guys have other things on your agenda?
No, our agenda continues after your talk. We would like if you give an opportunity for Q&A, so
Absolutely.
you build that into your
Yeah,
plan.
so you've got like 40 minutes, and then you've got 20 for Q&A, roughly.
Got you. Okay. And then it would be helpful for me in my presentation just to know a little bit about who you guys are. We have different partnerships, and I can speak to what would be most useful for you all. Maybe if we could just do quick popcorn with just names, kind of your role, and maybe something that you're looking forward to doing this fall.
I'll start. I'm Mark Malmud. I'm the CFO for Prisons to Partnership and the technical coordinator. I got involved because Neil inspired me. And since then, I've started to bang my head against the criminal justice system with my son being accused of 2 felony charges. And so it's been a little hectic.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm Tony Villano. I joined Prisons to Partnership last year before the conference. I got involved because I was involved in restorative justice, and I've been doing restorative justice work for about the last 4 years in Santa Cruz County and in Santa Clara, and not Santa Clara, Monterey County. And I just want to see what I can do to help and make things at least halfway sane.
Love that. Thank you, Tony.
I'm Robert Thomas. Tony and I co-chair the planning committee for our national conference. It'll be the week before Thanksgiving. This will be our second national virtual conference, and I've got a strong sense for social justice, and this is a population. I've taken recovery meetings into state and local facilities, and I know firsthand what it's like to what everyone those folks are going through, especially lifers. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
My name is Neil Abramson, and I live in Dallas, Texas. And I helped with the help of Mark and Tracy and Ken and Denny. I don't know if you've heard of Landmark Worldwide, but I'm a graduate and I participate with them, and a lot of us have. And this was a project to start this group. And currently I participate with a group called the Prison Entrepreneurship Program. I go into a prison about once every 2 months, and I mentor guys that have come out of prison every week. That's what I do. Thank you.
Ooh, I like that a lot, Neil. Thank you.
Natasha, I'm Kent McLaughlin, live in Spokane Valley, Washington. I am the vice president, was just elected to be the vice president of P2P. I've been around since the inception of the organization. Back in August of 2017, I was arrested and ended up spending 39 months in federal prison. I thought I knew what prison was before I went, and it was a big, wide eye-opener, and I've known Neil for 25 years. And when I got out, Neil asked me if I wanted to join this group and join this cause, and I said absolutely, because we need to transform this conversation and the way the prisons operate.
Got you. Thank you, Kent.
I'm Denny. Can you hear me?
I can
Yes,
hear
Denny.
you. Hi, Denny.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I'm here at the invitation of Neil when this started out as a project. And it actually became a national video conference that we did last November. And we're planning another one for this November, a national video conference, and all are invited. And I joined and am a friend of the conversation, and then helped produce the first conference. What I do for a living is I'm an artist. I had a partner in a business that was a two-time felon, so I had to deal with everything he had to deal with. And right now I'm a pen pal for a guy who's doing life without parole in Ohio, in Youngstown.
Thank you, Denny.
Hi, I'm Tracy. Hi, Natasha. I've been volunteering in prison for about 2 years, and this summer I've gone to Norco, California Rehabilitation Center, every Saturday, where we have a group, the Born to Run Club. Today I just got a text from somebody who was in San Quentin for decades. He's now out, and I communicate regularly with people, and I got a letter today from somebody who's in Tehachapi, and so I'm very committed to prison reform and bettering the lives of people who are incarcerated and their families.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to introduce yourself that didn't get a chance to yet? I see you, Chris, but we can't hear you.
It's got to be my mouse. It happens all the time. Anyway, I am Kent McLaughlin's wife and got highly interested in all of this while he was in prison, and started out learning more about it via reading excuse me, sorry about that, via reading the Marshall Project newsletters and such. And things have got to change, knowing what I know from Kent, what it's like on the inside. And he was in a low security facility, and it wasn't nice anyway. So it's got to be altered for sure.
Thank you, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Natasha. I'm Dana. I newly have become the president of this great leadership team. I'm so grateful you're here today with Project Avary. Really looking back around the criminal justice system wasn't a choice for me. My mother worked in the prisons, and she worked in admin. I also have an aunt who was a correctional officer, and just from there until now, of course, I grew up and got to see what the work was about and and why. So not only has the impact reached my neighborhood, my friends, my family of the justice system, I've also taken on coaching formerly incarcerated women for a couple of years at Homeboy Industries here in LA. I'm currently the program manager and project manager of Long Beach Black Workers Center, where my number one focus is to create job pathways for formerly incarcerated people and justice impacted children. So that's just a little bit, and I'm great friends with Neil and honored to serve in this capacity. And thanks again for coming.
Yeah, thank you. I did a tour at Homeboy Industries. They do really good work there. Thank you for sharing. Is that everyone? Okay, cool.
What about Nagin?
She had to step away.
Oh, she did. She's a professor at Fresno State. She teaches a I want to say criminal justice class.
She posted that
Okay.
she is involved in Fresno community and some RJ procedures with a couple of nonprofits.
Love that. Thank you so much for introducing yourselves. I appreciate you all. I have a little slideshow for you. So if you are a visual learner like I am, hopefully this will be helpful. As was brought out earlier, my name's Tasha. I am the training and engagement specialist with Project Avary. I'm also a certified life coach. I work directly with the youth that are in our program. I also work with community partners and caregivers. We are a small nonprofit organization. And so, we all wear many hats to get the job done. So just a little bit about the history of Project Avary. I'm not sure how many of you guys have heard of Project Avary before, but we started back in 1999, and it was started by a chaplain who worked at San Quentin. And what happened is, over the years, he would observe the youth coming in to visit their incarcerated loved ones. But as time continued to go on, he started to see those same youth coming in, but this time as the incarcerated themselves. And he thought, what can we do to break this generational cycle of incarceration? They wanted to serve youth that were the most underserved, and they decided that was children of incarcerated parents. So it started off as a camp that just took place one time a year in the San Rafael area, but now we spread our wings and we're serving youth all over the country. So it's nice to hear that so many of you are kind of spread out all over. We got Southern California, Texas, and other states involved, so we can serve children in all of those areas. And just to rewind, I know you guys are very familiar with the impact of incarceration on adults. So this focus is really about the children that are impacted of incarceration. So just to talk about that a little bit, right now, there are over 2.7 million children that have a parent that is in jail or prison right at this moment. Over their lifetime, over 10 million children will have the same experience. It's actually the second greatest public health issue in the United States for children, number one being asthma. With so many children being impacted, this is a national crisis. And so one of the problems is that when you have a family member that's been to jail or prison, it's attached with a stigma, and there's a shame that comes with that. I know, as Tony shared, I am a child of an incarcerated parent. I have a great relationship with my dad, but he's been in and out of jail and prison my entire life. In fact, he has an upcoming court date this month for, hopefully, he doesn't have to serve time, but we'll see what happens. And because of my love for my dad, I don't want to tell people that he's been to jail, because I feel like automatically he's judged as a bad person, right? And so what happens is these children suffer in silence. I went all through school, including college, without sharing with anyone that my dad was in jail. So this causes higher anxiety, depression, mental health issues, and other very serious underlying issues. So what children in this condition need is social and emotional support to be able to connect with both adults and peers who have lived a similar experience. Just want to share this with you guys. So I'm gonna minimize the chat, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to jump in at any time. This is very informal, so just let me know if you have a question. But just wanted to share this Bill of Rights that was actually created by CIP, which stands for Children of Incarcerated Parents. So this was put together back in 2005, and there are multiple nonprofit organizations that got together to write up this document of what they felt should be the rights or the needs, more specifically, of children that are impacted by the justice system. And so this is that Bill of Rights. I was present at the time of my father's arrest multiple times, according to my mom. But the first time I remember my dad being arrested in front of me, I was 4 years old. And I remembered it just being a big deal. So many people coming outside to see what happened. And I remember being really upset with my dad for making poor decisions that put our family in this situation. But the last thing I remember my dad saying before I didn't see him again for another 4 years was, "Are you guys going to arrest me in front of my kids?" It was me and my younger sister, who was 2 years old. She was too young to remember anything that happened, so I couldn't even talk to her about it. But for years, I never wanted to speak to my dad again. And when I did see him again, I was 8 years old. And I stuck my hand out and called him by his first name. It visibly broke his heart. And he said, "I'm your father, I'm your dad," but I didn't feel that he deserved that title. My dad worked really hard to mend that relationship with me, even at a very young age, at 8 years old. He worked really hard to now he's one of my best friends, and I couldn't see my life without him. But he really put in the work because I wasn't willing to do that at the time. But I say that to say it's important for the children to be kept safe and informed at the time of the parents' arrest, to be able to be a part of the conversation when there's decisions being made about them, to make sure that they're being cared for when their parents are absent. Sometimes there are youth who have both of their parents incarcerated. They also have the right to be able to see and touch their parent. And there's some states that don't allow the children to do that. They also have the right to not be judged or blamed for their parents' mistakes. Naturally, many children take the blame on of their parent being in jail. They feel like if they had done something differently, if they were a better kid or whatever, that their parent would not be in jail. So if the child wants, they should be able to maintain a relationship with their parents. So that was just the needs that children said that they needed. And a huge part of our organization is listening to the voice of those who are often forgotten. So there's so many programs for the incarcerated themselves to be able to get the help and support that they need to be able to get on their feet. But there's not a lot of programs for the children that are left behind. And it's a really strange experience to grieve someone who is still alive. So what we do at Project Avary, we call these our 4 pillars. We create a place for the children to be able to belong. They are able to connect with both adults and peers who have lived through similar experiences. They also have a place to share if they would like. We never force anyone to share, but we do provide the space and the opportunity for children to be able to share in a judgment-free zone with people who have lived through similar circumstances. We also provide an opportunity for our children to be able to give back. So a lot of times when you have 1 or 2 parents missing, right, then there is the economic disadvantage. And so a lot of times there are services that are offered for youth, but they are not compensated for their time. And so they don't end up not coming because they have to get a job to support their family. That was my circumstance. Single Black mom in Oakland with 3 kids. And so I started working at 14 years old. There are a lot of programs that were available for youth community service programs, but none that actually paid. So we pay our youth leaders and our youth advisory council to participate within our program. So we'll talk more about that leadership model and what that looks like and why that's important. But quite possibly what we think the most important thing that we do at Project Avary is create a place for children to be able to have fun and be a kid again. That is necessary for them to build relationships within the community. But also, it's just necessary for them to be able to be a kid. As the oldest of 3 children, I always felt this strong sense of responsibility. I don't remember actually ever being a kid. Even I remember when I would play games with my sister or my brother or my friends, I'm the teacher, or I'm the mom, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, is this strong sense of accountability and responsibility. And even when I started working at 14, that was to help keep the lights on, make sure we had water, because oftentimes the PG&E or the water bill, electricity or the water would get shut off. Even if I wanted to go on a family vacation, I had to save enough money for my whole family to be able to go. So at Project Avary, we have a few different programs that we offer. All of our services are offered at no cost, thanks to our sponsors. We do have our annual gala coming up this October if you're interested in attending to support. It's our fundraising gala to support the youth. We have national support circles. So these are online groups that take place throughout the year. So these are 6-week sessions that happen 1 day a week, 1 hour a week after school. The time frame varies because we serve children nationwide. So the time could be anywhere between 4 and 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We also have ongoing growth, mentorship, and counselor training. Those are paid training for our youth. We have caregiver support groups that takes place for the caregivers that have youth in our program. They're able to join and support groups once a month to build community within themselves, but also to talk about some of the challenges and struggles that they're facing, because there's power in knowing that you're not alone. Just like many of our youth feel like they're the only person going through this situation, especially those teenagers and preteens, they suffer in silence. But when they join our program, even if they're not speaking, they're able to hear others are going through the same things, expressing those similar feelings, and they recognize that they're not alone in how they feel. In addition to those online support circles, which everyone in our program is, even adults who want to be a part of our services, everyone starts off supporting those online support circles. But in the Greater Bay Area, where we had our start, we do still have those in-person retreats that take place once a month. We also have community days. Those retreats that take place once a month. These are overnight sleepover retreats for youth, and they happen during holiday breaks, weekends, and also summer break. So just a little bit more on the national support circles. As I mentioned, they are 6 days a week. In our curriculum, it's not built to be a therapy session. Our curriculum is built around fun. So there's lots of games and activities, although we do have that piece that we call real talk. And it's just that where we talk about our real life experiences with incarceration. And we get in front of that stigma. The best way to get in front of the stigma is to talk about it openly and honestly. We have a stigma because we don't talk about it. We tiptoe around the subject. And then that is what increases those feelings of shame. So we talk about what we all have in common is having someone that we know that has been in jail or prison. All of our counselors have personal experience, and we also use evidence-based practices to lead each of these sessions. And our participants, as they grow through the program, they can get promoted into these paid leadership roles. And so what that looks like is even as young as 8 years old, they can be promoted to be what's called a junior counselor. So all of our youth, we call them future leaders. Even if they're just getting in, they're all future leaders. But then they can get promoted to what's called a junior leader role. And in this junior leader role, they are compensated with a gift card to a place of their choice. Could be DoorDash, Amazon, GameStop. whatever. So that is $75 for participating 1 hour a week for 6 weeks. So that's awesome. In addition to that, they can get promoted once they're 16 to what's called a junior counselor role. Then they can get, which is paid with hourly rate. And then they can get promoted to associate counselor and so forth, and get this ongoing paid training to eventually become lead counselors in the group if that's something that they are interested in doing. We support them through that process. Our groups in the online space are for children ages 8 to 25. And we used to say 8 to 18, but we recognize that many of our youth are in foster care because both of their parents have been to jail or prison, and they need ongoing support to be able to transition into getting a job, learning how to do a resume, going to college. And once they age out of the system, they don't have that support system. So our youth never actually have to graduate from the program. We continue to support them over the years. There's many youth that started off at 8 years old back in 1999, and they're still part of our program down to this day. So we have our regular groups, which take place for 8 to 25 of all ages, but then we have a focus group for teenagers, which is more developmentally based, and it's more advanced emotionally, so they have stronger shares there, but we also share professional skill sets. So this is where we have guest speakers come out and teach different things, like how to apply for college resumes, how to do homework, like basically it's a need-based program. So they do surveys, they tell us what they need, and then we will find experts in that area to support them. So group mentoring is so important because of that shame and stigma, for them to see Black and brown and indigenous people that look like them, that have been able to process trauma and move forward, is so important for them to grow through that grieving process. So this is just an example of some of the fun we have in our online groups. I'll stop there just to check in. Does anyone have any questions so far? Just feel free to unmute yourself and tap in. Okay, great. So just to talk about why lived experience is expertise. Another reason why we pay our youth is because they have lived experience. If you have lived experience in something, you're the expert in that topic. We pay experts, right, to speak to us. So we pay our youth because they are the experts. But in addition to that, our curriculum, I'm just going to circle back. Why lived experience is important, because many times one of the most popular questions at this point is, who are these counselors? Are they licensed clinicians? And feeling that as if that is the most important thing. But the reason why our program works this way is because it's not a therapy session. It's a group mentoring session. So licensed clinicians are not necessary, although some of our counselors are licensed clinicians. And the person who developed our curriculum is a licensed clinician, but even more importantly, he was a child of an incarcerated parent. So him, as well as other members on the team, contributed to the expertise and the dynamic of the curriculum that we use, that is healing and peer-to-peer based. So also, it's not just one lead counselor. There is a group of counselors facilitating and co-facilitating to ensure the safety of the group. So our goal is to support them emotionally, help them to develop their social skills, and also, as I mentioned, to help them to develop professionally. We are a youth and leadership development program at our core, and part of our program is designed to help the older youth to pour back into the younger youth in the community. So as a youth, all I wanted to be was a person that I needed as a little girl. So we provide that opportunity for youth to be able to do that. And there's healing in that, being able to help others like you through those difficult times. And that's what our online program is designed to do. So as I mentioned, to participate, they need to be between the ages of 8 and 25. Obviously, they need to have their caregiver's consent to participate. They do need to have a family member that is currently or was formerly incarcerated during their lifetime. So it means it has to have a direct impact. It doesn't hit the same for youth who have, like me, who have their father arrested in front of them, and someone who says, oh, I heard my cousin went to jail once. You know, we want them to be able to have a meaningful, heartfelt conversation about the experience they had and how it impacted them. Not to say that an older cousin doesn't directly impact the youth. It can be anyone, but someone that directly impacts the youth. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't necessarily have to be a parent, but if it's an older brother who helps take care of the youth, maybe the one who picks them up from the school, or maybe an aunt or uncle or older cousin who is a huge part of their lives, who is now arrested, that does directly impact the youth. It could be a grandma, grandpa. It could be a step parent, anyone that has a direct impact on them. They also must have some type of personal device. This is important because we are an online program to be able to log in. And then for our in-person program, for those that are in the Greater Bay Area and they're able to attend these overnight retreats, we do have pickup locations that we take the youth to and from different destinations, which could be as far as Tahoe or Point Reyes, Stinson area, beautiful places along the coast where we enjoy different outdoor activities such as surfing, hiking, boogie boarding, rock climbing, water rafting, etc. And this program is designed really for there to be things that are intentionally challenging to help the youth to see that they can overcome adversity in challenging situations. All of our youth are enrolled on a case-by-case basis. However, if you feel maybe this person may qualify, but I'm not sure, we always say, err on the side of caution. Go ahead and put in an application and we'll see if we could accept them. Our goal is to accept as many youth as possible. There are over 10 million children that need support, and we want to support as many as we can. The communities, I'm sure that we're all aware, that have affected the most are our BIPOC communities, the people of color. Due to deep-rooted inequalities, right, over policing, then these are the ones who have 5 times more likely to go to jail than their white counterparts. So historically, there's a ripple effect, right? So this is going to affect your mental health, it's going to affect your education, it's going to affect you economically, all of these different areas. So overall well-being is impacted by the experience of incarceration. And so our goal is to serve the underserved. In order to do that, it's important for the youth to have people that look like them, these credible messengers that they can see themselves in. So it's important for us to be culturally inclusive in our programming and to have BIPOC population in positions of leadership. We also serve children that are impacted by ICE or immigration. I know this is a hot topic right now, but youth that are impacted by the parcel system in any way would be eligible for our program. So that includes families that have someone that has been detained or deported. The youth would be eligible to apply for our program. Avary creates a safe space for those in this community. Anything shared with us is completely confidential. We do not work with the government or ICE or any kind of immigration agency. So everything is confidential with us. And we do have multiple staff and counselors who are bilingual in Spanish. Another group that is adversely affected by incarcerations is Native Americans. And the numbers that I shared earlier with the stats for the United States may not be accurate because many that are native or indigenous live in sovereign nations where those numbers are not necessarily reported. And so many times the youth in these situations, the caregiver may be the one, the youth may be a victim of the parents' crimes. So it's important for these youth to be able to have support also. So we do have a dedicated team for Native outreach. They are 4 times more likely than white individuals to have a parent that go to jail or prison. So we want to make sure they also have the support that they deserve. So for our ICE deported ICE families, families impacted by ICE or detention centers, there's a page on our website for them, but there's also a page for Native youth to be able to learn more. And as it shows here, 1 in 5 Native children have the experience of having a parent in jail or prison, which are really high numbers. So there are so many children that have a parent that is in jail or prison. It's important for us to be able to collaborate. We can't serve all the children. We can't reach everyone. One of the huge problems in the nonprofit industry is we are all grant funded, right? And we have these grant conditions that we have to meet. And we want to work with others, but what happens is we get stuck in the day-to-day rigmarole and meeting our deadlines. And we may not necessarily be sharing out information with families. So those who need it the most are not aware of what opportunities are available to them. So it's important for us to share resources with families. Why this is such a great resource for families is the paid opportunities. This helps to motivate youth to continue to want to participate over the years. As they transition into teen years, they're looking for work, they're looking for a job, and we provide that along with a safe place. As I mentioned earlier, lived experience is expertise, and those that are closest to the problem are usually closest to the solution. But those that are closest to the solution may not necessarily be aware of the resources. So that's where all of us come in the different places that we work, whether it is in a college form, whether it's with the org or other things that we do in our volunteer time. It's important to let people know what is out there. In order to get resources into people's hands, some things that we do is social sharing on social media. We're really big on sharing out flyers for other community orgs. I personally do run the social media account for Project Avary. So if you share what you have coming up, even your conference that you have in November, that's something, if you could share that flyer with me on social media, we'll be happy to blast that out for you and get people to come. I know I will be in attendance and leading one of the sessions there, so I look forward to seeing some of you at that. Also, community libraries. Oh, I did not mean to do that. And other places where you can see. I'm going to jump back to that screen, but while I do that, did anyone have any questions at this point? Nada. Okay.
No, I have a couple of things. Sorry.
Okay, give it to me.
Natasha, you have my email. Please send me your phone number so I include you in our WhatsApp group for the conference. So you'll get those flyers that you're requesting as we build them. We just sent out a new one today for people to share.
Okay.
So now back to Project Avary. Do you guys actually have camps all over the country or just in California?
Great question. So all over the country, what we have are our national support circles, and camp at this time is only held in Northern California. However, the caveat to that is, sorry, did I go to the right place?
Yeah.
I need to stop. The caveat to that is that we have had in the past funders pay for youth to fly out to come to our camp from the online program. So if we were to have youth participate in other areas, there have been funders in the past that will fund that. The other thing is our goal is to bring the camp to other locations, but the best way for us to do that is to support the online groups. That way we can develop people in new areas and then go branch out into those particular areas where we have larger populations to be able to have camps in the future there. I feel like a lot of times when people hear about the in-person program, they kind of prefer to do that rather than the online program. But the online program is how everyone is introduced into our program. And it's also how we grow our program, because if we don't have junior leaders, associate counselors, et cetera, that whole team of leaders, we can't have the program there because it's built on that leadership development ladder. So
Yeah, I fostered 16 young adults in my life, and all for short term. And of them, 5 were from incarcerated parents. 2 have, they're all in their 30s now, but 2 of them are in and out of prison, and they blame it on the parents. They say it was in their genes and that's what they were taught to do. And I wish that I knew about Project Avary then, back in the 90s, because I might have saved those 2.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And a lot of people say something similar. The kids are doing what they see, at home. And so our actual mission statement is to do just that, break generational cycles of incarceration. So back to, did you have any other questions, Mark?
No, thank you.
Did you have one, Kent?
Yeah, Natasha, I just wanted to share a resource that I don't think you know about. It was just released about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's an app like WhatsApp. It's called Conmigo, CONMIGO, and it will translate into any language.
Okay.
So you could have someone who, a person who speaks English texting with a Mexican person, Latino or whatever language, and it will translate to their language. So the language barrier has been broken. It's a very valuable tool. It's something everybody should be checking out. And in the future, it's actually going to be going like Zoom will be becoming a video also.
Oh, okay. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. I made a note of it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, some other ways that we can share within the community is we are willing to be guest speakers at events. We do podcasts. We will do staff trainings for your team. So if you work with other orgs, like Homeboys Industries is one that I've been trying to work with and do more trainings on the team, because a lot of those that are part of Homeboy Industry does have children and they're not aware of this program. So we're happy to do that, offer presentations. And social media. This is a link to our online application. So our website is projectavary.org. But if you go on there and you click on the national program, there's an enrollment application. This is where you can refer someone that has a child. So you can refer someone as a third party. You can complete this for yourself if you're a caregiver that has been to jail or prison, and youth can refer themselves. So this only takes about 5 minutes to complete the referral form, and then someone from our team would follow up with you. And I can just click on it so you can see it's really just short and simple. This is where you put who you are, the youth information, the caregivers information, how they were impacted, and how you heard about our program. So that's pretty much very straightforward. Then this is just some of the stats that shows that children that participate in our program, 100% of them had a healthy and encouraging experience and showed emotional improvement, 89%, which I think is huge. These are some of our flyers. So if you would like a flyer emailed to you, we can share these flyers both in English and Spanish for our online groups. And I have a little video I can play for you all, but pretty much if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them at this time.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Can you share your slide deck with us?
Yes.
Great. Also, I have a friend who was incarcerated, and his two kids are not speaking with him right now. They are in Wyoming. He couldn't come tonight, but he's going to watch the recording. How would you suggest that he go about sharing Project Avary with them?
Who, does he have a good relationship with the person that they live with?
The mom? Yeah. Well, when you say good, I mean, I think he's in communication with the mother, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. I think, I've been to jails and prisons and done presentations to the families there, specifically women. I shouldn't say families because it was just the mothers. And even just me mentioning that what this program can do, they were in tears. The thought that even from jail, that they can do something positive for their child meant so much. I think that is a good first step in itself, the intent behind it, and wanting and understanding what impact his actions had on the life of them, being open, honest, and vulnerable with that. And, this is a first step for the children to get off their chest. So for me, I never talked about how incarceration impacted me. Therefore, I never processed it until I was an adult and joined Project Avary. I didn't even realize how much his incarceration impacted my entire life. Because it wasn't just my dad that was incarcerated. It was my grandfather, it was my uncles, it was my cousins. Every positive male figure in my life was in and out of jail. So in my mind, there's not a man that's going to stay and be present for you. Even in relationships, there was this distrust. And it all just boiled down to having a parent incarcerated. And there's so many different layers and levels to that. It's like an onion. Any other questions? That was a great question, Tracy. Thank you. Okay, cool. Well, I'll play this little video where you guys can hear from the kids themselves instead of from me. So let me do that for you.
All right, we are recording.
I have a loved one in jail.
I have a loved one in prison. I've had a loved one incarcerated before.
I've had a loved one in jail or prison.
Well, at first, but it's like kind of scary. But then during real talk, you figure out that everyone around you is going through the same thing as you do.
Everybody's experiencing the same thing.
Joining Avary is just a place for you to find support and community and just friends who understand you and can really relate to what you're going through.
Project Avary is a safe space where people like us
can be open and honest about having a loved one in jail.
I have so many favorite parts, but I guess my favorite part is just the community overall.
My favorite part is definitely the real talk.
The real talk because I get to hear other people's experiences that I've never heard before, and it makes me feel better.
You get to share things that you feel and like other people feel at the same time.
My favorite is the games because everyone gets like talk and it's inclusive. Doesn't have to be the game.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh yeah. Perfect. Awesome. We got everybody.
Join our Avary family. Join our Avary family.
Join our Avary family.
Join our Avary family.
Join our Avary family.
Join our Avary family.
Okay, that's all she wrote, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening.
Wow. Natasha,
Phenomenal work.
you talked about a conference coming up.
Your conference in November?
No, your conference. Or
We don't have a conference. I was referring to your conference in
It's an
November.
event, but you said you have an event coming up, a ball or
Oh, a gala,
gala.
a fundraising gala. Yeah.
when is that, and how do people join, or do you just look on Project Avary about it?
It is on the website. I can look it up and get you the date. But it is in October. It is $150 per person, and it's going to be in Berkeley, California.
Oh, it's live.
Huh?
It's live, in person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only in
Galas are
person.
usually live, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see if I saw that you take up the 25-year-old, but I would like to, there's those two foster kids, I would love to get them to join the circle.
Yeah, they could apply online to be a counselor. If they're over 25, you could still apply to be a counselor. Everyone though starts with the online program, volunteering their time, and you just kind of get to receive the benefits of participating and seeing if it's a good fit for you. After that, then they can be promoted just as the youth. Everyone's equal. After that, they can be promoted into leadership roles based on the interactions.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The gala is on October 23rd for those that were interested, at 5:30
In Berkeley.
in Berkeley, California.
I actually believe I'll be working in Santa Rosa that week. If so, I'll attend.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm not that far. I'm going to probably be there.
That'd be lovely to meet you both in person. Any other
Truly,
last?
thank you, Natasha. No, and I want to be mindful of everyone's time, and our call ends at 6. But thank you so much. That was a very powerful presentation, and it came across in a different way, I'll say, because we get that your life was impacted by childhood experiences that change your life forever. So thank you for your commitment to this cause and to our children. There's not enough of that. And I'm just sitting here thinking how I could become a referral source at the Black Worker Center for your project. And so maybe we can have another conversation around that.
For sure. I'm going to put my email in the chat now so you guys all have it. And if you want anything emailed to you, slideshow deck, flyers, anything, just reach out to me and I'll get it to you. Thank you all so much for your time. I hope you have a great rest of your day.